Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
COVID-19. Hey, hello, everyone.
Oh, goodness. We can't even joke about that anymore. It's so triggering for everybody.
We might infect everybody through the podcast.
Yeah, just, before you touch your phones to download this virus or podcast that you're listening to, make sure to wash your hands, which you should already be doing anyway. And
Clorox, wipe your phone and your face.
I
Put
was
on a mask.
I was talking with somebody about this. We talk about washing our hands. That's great, and you should all wash your hands anyway. It's like very basic common sense. But then you wash your hands and then proceed to put it back on the dirty phone that you've been carrying around that you never clean.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got a case on it. Well, is your case made of pure like silver or something that disinfects itself? I mean, get out of here, man. Get out of here with that junk.
Yeah. And I think we're all bad about disinfecting our phones. I just did for the first time in probably a month the other day. But yeah, I think it's funny what people focus on. We went to Subway the other day at work, and we only had one person with the card. The others paid cash. So I paid the manager cash, and he just bought everything. And he's like, well, you need to Clorox wipe those dollar bills before I take them. It's like, we're going to Subway. A person who's been in contact with probably 200-300 people this week is making you a sandwich. And you're worried about my dollar bills that have been sitting in my wallet for a week.
Well, and money actually is very dirty. It's probably one of the dirtiest things that we never think about. There's popular theory that if you take any bill, really, there could be a high percentage that if you did like a drug swab on it, you could probably come up with cocaine on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just because, unfortunately that happens. But yeah, money is fairly dirty. And I think that has, with the rise of using cards and people, I remember I was in
you don't know what's in that chip insert, man. Cards can be dirty too.
Well, that's true, but they don't get passed around as much. But I was in a meeting at one point, and a question came up like, how many of you actually carry cash? And I'll usually carry maybe $20 or something just in case, because a card reader could stop working. What's that?
Yeah. There are places that don't take, card, like if you go to an Amish market or certain restaurants.
Yeah, you want to get your honey on the side of the road or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
But no, you're right. I mean, there legitimately are still places that don't have card readers, and those are powered by electricity, so they could go down. It's always good to have a backup. I used to work in the food service industry, and I remember a few times where power would go down and people just expect a free meal. It's like, no, you should have brought cash as a backup because it's your responsibility to pay for the service that we just gave you. But, unfortunately, you do wind up giving a lot of free meals away. I doubt you've ever dealt with them, but have you ever seen the manual card swiper that's non-electronic?
No, I haven't.
It was. I remember having to get one of those out one time, long time ago, because the power went out, and it was the only way we could process, card. So for those of you who are old enough to have known that, it'll bring flashbacks to your mind. But cards obviously had been in use for a long time, and there were times when there were not electronic means to read them. So anyway, yeah, just guys, stay safe. Common sense measures usually go a long way, and just keep clean. And I hate to say it, but you can't let this sort of stuff stop you from living a normal life. Living in fear is a bad way to live. So continue to live as best you can, and stop buying up all the toilet paper. There are some of us that also need to wipe as well.
Yes, I have 4 rolls left.
So do I.
Sherman is out of everything on their own website. I would really appreciate being able to buy 1 roll. for less than $5. By the way, have you seen that on Facebook? People are selling rolls for like $5.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, you know. And I'm the kind of guy who got to the conclusion that I have to buy Charmin Ultra, man. Got to buy that Charmin Ultra because Angel Soft sucks.
Yeah. Well, no, literally, if you go on Charmin's website, it says right on the top, there's a banner. We are out of stock of all products.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. What did I read the other day? It's like all that stack of napkins in your glove box is going to be the real hero pretty soon.
I posted a picture of shop towels, the blue mechanic shop towels. Someone had cut it into thirds and made a perfect roll of toilet paper out of that. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to use that, but you got.
Yeah, probably not, but you could. So yeah, just stay safe, folks, and sit back, listen to some podcast. I think that sounds like a good time. But yeah, today's
we have one announcement to make, obviously, about the coronavirus. So Palpatine has issued a statement that Order 66 has been canceled.
Thank God.
Until further notice.
That's good. It's good. Couple more fleeting seconds for our Jedi friends. We're not quite there yet, are we?
No. Well, we don't want those clones getting sick. We need them.
Yeah, that's true. You never know. But yeah, today's discussion is going to be on episode 4, Unfinished Business, season 7 of Clone Wars. We've been running through this. In our last episode, we had the rescue of Echo, bringing him back from the clutches of the Disco Empire. I mean, Techno Union or Techno something or whatever it was.
Yes.
Oh, so
straight out of the Let's Dance Star Wars thing from Wii or whatever it was, the Techno Union.
That's right, the Techno Union. They're great folks. All right, so what did you think about this particular episode initially?
It was a good episode. I think a little better than the last one. This arc is getting a bit longer than I'd like. Luckily, we're done with it. Good conclusion for Echo. Had some funny moments with Jedi. So, overall an okay episode. Nothing special.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think that this whole Bad Batch and Echo deal probably should have been wrapped up in 3 episodes, if that. I think we had talked about earlier there are 12 episodes in this season, and I think that we're maybe spending a little bit too much time trying to conclude this one thing. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of over it personally. I just, the Bad Batch to me just sort of seems just okay, and obviously sort of the big conclusion here is towards the end of the episode, but we need to move past this, and we need to get into bigger and better things. So although it was fine, I just found myself like, what's that?
Sorry about that. I was just saying we're a third of the way into the season, and we're already, we don't have Ahsoka yet. We don't have much going on. So, yeah,
right.
It's time to go into high gear and get into some more interesting Jedi stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, it's a little too much, and we kind of need to start moving forward. So that's what we should be doing. So I guess let's kind of walk through the episode. Now, obviously, as we said, we had the rescue of Echo, sort of bringing him back into the fold, but there's not a ton of trust in him yet, is there?
No, the Bad Batch is still pretty convinced that he's a spy or a sleeper agent of some kind. Mm-hmm. And, Rex is really the only person who trusts him at this point. Even Anakin stays pretty neutral about it. So,
right.
Yeah. Old Echo's getting ragged on quite a bit in this episode.
Well, I think the biggest issue is that they they basically mechanized him, you know, so he's not just a standard clone. He's got a, you know, a claw port, you know, application arm, and like he's kind of a little bit more machine. And the thing is that programming can work both ways. I mean, you can be programmed to act in this manner, programmed to act in that manner, so for the good or the bad. But you know, what if they wrote a program that, you know, swapped them back to their side or returned them or something? So it's kind of something that's a little disconcerting. So I do understand their suspicions.
Yeah. I mean, he has neural wiring even. Mm-hmm. So realistically, you would expect it. I mean, if that doesn't happen, I'd be kind of surprised.
Right. For sure. So we do have the Republic and our Jedi here. They want a win. This is the biggest thing. So they've been losing. The algorithm is now technically out of service, so to speak, and they want to win in order to start turning the tide. And this is kind of where Echo sort of starts to formulate the plan, so to speak. And again, like you said, you start to have this reluctance. It's like, are you sure we want to go based on this? But they do. They do wind up going with Echo's plan, which is seems to be fully on Rex's shoulders, right?
Yeah, it does. He's pretty much, I mean, again, like I said, the only one who's supporting him. So he's got kind of a target on his back too if he, you know, messes up and Echo ends up being a spy. I mean, so he's got a lot of work cut out in this episode for him as well. Although honestly, Rex isn't really in this episode all that much. It's just not a lot with him.
Yeah, I mean he's there, but just there. So basically, the plan, they're going to attack Admiral Trench's, basically his ship, his little fleet here, his main fleet, and they use Echo's connection here in order to, well, the first thing was to get them past their initial defenses. So he's able to mask the shuttle to make it look like one of Trench's own. And these droids, man, they're so dumb. Oh, that's not one of ours. I've never seen that before. Oh, no, wait, it is one of ours. Let him in. Okay. Never questioned it one time. But we do get...
Yeah. We thought they were done in Phantom Menace growing up, and then we got this. Like, oh no, those were smart droids.
Yeah, for sure.
They were elite.
So we get an infiltration mission in order to have Echo sort of plug into, I guess, the core computer would be what I would call it, so that we could effectively redirect Trench's plans to, you know, aid in a Jedi victory. Now, this is where we get a little bit into, is he really on our side? Is he really helping us, or is this the program? Because when he locks in, he basically I mean, it's like right at that moment too. So this is important. The Techno Union has not told Trench that Echo has been stolen. Why do you think that is?
You know, I kind of wondered the same thing, because a little bit later on, Trench goes to use the algorithm, and you know, I mean, obviously it's not going to do him any good. Honestly, I'm starting to lean towards just incompetence on the Techno Union's part.
What do you think? Do you think it's fear?
Not necessarily. I mean, they all ultimately answer to Dooku, which they could be fearful of that, but I don't think it's fear of Trench.
Well, no, I guess I should have clarified. Yeah, I was talking about more of fear of Dooku and sort of the retaliation, because it's like you failed, and we see what happens to folks that fail the dark side. They don't really last too long.
Yeah, but they're also kind of making it worse by not telling Trench when you think about it, because that could lead to quite a few defeats.
Yep.
I'm not sure if that's just a plot hole that they didn't think about, or if there's an actual reason behind it. Hard to tell.
Yeah, true. So let's see. We get the infiltration. Echo's plugged in. Trench is actually calling to get a strategy, and Tech sets it up so it looks like Echo is actually transmitting from the Techno Union's planet, and he basically sends all the droids to where Mace and Obi-Wan and their troops are attacking. And did you like Mace Windu's little monologue he had there?
Yes, I love that. I have dismantled over 100,000 of you base B1 battle droids.
The party's over. Yeah.
I just love the stupid battle droid answer. Like, you have a chance, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I won't kill you if you just lay down your arms. Blast him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So they were able to sort of dismantle this first wave, but the whole Echo's whole plan is to send every droid that they had to this specific point so that he could initiate a kind of a cascading charge to zap all of them. Now this again, you're getting sort of like, are you sure he's like really on our side? Are you sure that's what he's doing? Are you sure that's what you're doing directly to Echo? So, yeah. But eventually they do wind up falling in with the plan, and that's pretty much that. We do wind up getting the cascade. So Echo is doing what he's doing. It doesn't seem like he's turning. It seems like everything's good. Sort of, with as good as it can be. And let's see what else. Well, we also have some stuff with Trench as well, kind of realizing that, oh crap, that pulse originated from this ship, and they're obviously here. And let's talk a little bit about the fighting, because again, they're trying to highlight the Bad Batch's special skills. So what did you think of the sort of corridor droid fighting with Wrecker and Crosshair?
Yeah. Are you referring to the 360 no scope? Oh, what would that even be? 15 kill combo deal?
Well, yeah, you had that with Crosshair with a little bouncing off of, I don't know, whatever.
Reflect points.
Yeah, reflect points, I guess. And then Heavy's kind of hand-to-hand combat with them.
Yeah. Getting a little burnout again on Bad Batch in general.
Yeah.
They're a cool concept, but not as entertaining at this point. I thought the Crosshair thing was ridiculous.
So did I.
Honestly.
Yep.
I didn't like that much.
Yeah, it was again, we suspend belief in a lot of things, but sometimes there's only so much you can do. I think personally the only member of the Bad Batch that if I were a writer could or would be willing to make a story around is probably Tech. I think he's somebody that you could do certain things with that would be deeper. But like Wrecker, he's fine. He's kind of a little bit of comic relief. Yeah, Crosshair is sarcastic and I don't know. Some of him gets a little old, and then the leader of the group, which I completely am blanking on his name. Hunter? Okay, that's what Hunter. I thought. I still don't get it. Like with him, it's just like, oh, okay, so you're Yeah, you're the leader. Oh, that's right. You always find stuff, which has been a real help for everybody. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm getting a little. I already sort of said it. I'm getting a little burnt out. But yeah, the constant sort of it feels like, and I don't want to be ragging on everything because it still wasn't a bad episode, and I'm glad we're here. But this constant sort of justification of the Bad Batch and their skill set just sort of seems a little bit strange to me.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Tech's probably the only one interesting enough. He's not as generic of a character. He's actually has some story building with him, with the whole recordings thing and everything. He's interesting enough, but I'm ready to move on. So yeah, the combat didn't do it for me this round.
Yeah.
We had some interesting stuff with Trench though. that was a satisfying little snippet.
Yeah, we can move on. We can move on to Trench. So the first thing is Trench has built in his own strategy. So he's not stupid. I mean, he knows that like sometimes you can't just rely on the same comfort of having that algorithm. He's got to have his own backup plans, and in this case, he had set bombs. He had set bombs up. So that if somebody were to take the ships or the facility, they could potentially incapacitate whoever did that. So he activates these bombs, and he's kind of looking to get out, but then is confronted by Anakin.
Yeah, and we get a bit of a dark side moment with Anakin, actually.
Yeah, exactly. The turn is happening. He's tired of the talking. He's tired of diplomacy. He's tired of the constant stalling. He's kind of like the viewer in a lot of ways for this kind of stuff. It's like he doesn't want to hear the bad guy's monologue. He just wants to get to the point. And although, he does, obviously, spoilers, we all know he turns to the dark side and, eventually. This is kind of the...
Whoa. Too many spoilers there, man.
Oh, next you're going to tell me you don't know he's Luke's father.
Cut that out. They cut that out, too. No,
and much. Leia's father, too, because they were twins.
It's only been 40 years. Come on.
And Padme dies.
Give some people some time.
Padme dies of a broken heart.
Or does she? Yes, she does. That's a handmaid.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, geez. Anakin impregnated a handmaiden. It wasn't even Padme. He didn't know.
The comic that just came out.
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, really?
I'm very behind.
I've been keeping up with it.
Well,
I've been keeping up with it, just some synopsis. So
interesting
stuff.
Part of obviously this is a bit of a segue. I had been doing a secondary show called Power Half Hour, which we went over comics. I have 8 comics I need to do, so that'd be 4 shows. I'm going to try and get back to that for everybody. More than likely today, I'm going to spend some time to try and go through some episodes, but that's definitely on the list because I still have Kylo Ren to finish up. There's 3 issues of the main Star Wars line that have come out to this point, 2 episodes of the Vader comic, and then the first issue of the Bounty Hunters comic just came out this week as well. So there's
wow.
What's that?
I thought that had a while to go. Everything's coming out once.
Yeah, so there's actually quite a bit. So I'll get back to that and start actually making sure to keep apprised again because I just got really, really behind on all that just due to this, that, and the other. So, but anyway, back to little Annie here. He's just tired of the crap. He cuts off Trench's mechanical arms, mind you, just the mechanicals. Trench does kind of sort of fight back. He sort of, he's doesn't seem like a fighter, but he does sort of try a little bit. And essentially, they need one more number in this code to shut down the bombs. Echo was able to get a couple, but they kind of spiked him, and he was out of commission. So Trench has the last number, and Anakin isn't negotiating. What was the line he said? Something about like Trench was like, Jedi don't do this. It's like, well, I'm not like other Jedi or something. Is that what he said?
Yeah. Which is something I think he's used quite a few times throughout Clone Wars, but there's more menace involved in this one.
Well, literally cuts off his mechanical arms. Yeah. But eventually Trench does try. He does give up the number. They are able to deactivate the bombs. And he kind of does try one last sort of attempt to incapacitate Anakin and get away with his little cane, his pimp cane. That doesn't work. And Anakin... Yeah. Well, Anakin winds up running him through, man. Just, he's had enough. And I think that in the sort of scope of a cartoon, it's maybe not quite as impactful to everyone. But I mean, literally, Anakin just killed this guy. I mean, technically, they could have, if they would have taken him alive. You don't know. I mean, it could have been a wealth of information for the Republic. It might have been like a short-sighted thing, but it's like this is the path. He's tired of him. I've been dealing with this guy for too long. He's been one up on us, and now it's just time to get rid of him.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've had quite a little backstory too. He's already technically killed him once.
Yep, true.
With, season 2, I believe, the end of it, they have a little battle, a little skirmish in space. It's his turn is becoming very evident at this point.
Right.
You can see it in his face. He's becoming more aggressive. He has no patience whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can just see that battle with Dooku, coming right around the corner. So the setup is very good. I like how they're doing that.
Yeah, agreed. So, I think that. Well, let's see. What else did we have in this episode? So we had Trench. Oh, and we had Wrecker's big moment. I just want to blow stuff up. And he gets the chance. He finds this detonator. Anakin finds a detonator for the bombs and gives it to Wrecker. And Wrecker gets to blow up all the ships.
I love it.
Yeah. Very colorful explosions. Did you see that?
Yeah. A little strange.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit odd. I don't know if that's supposed to be significant of something, I guess. I mean, I could venture a couple of guesses what that could be, but I mean, or maybe they just wanted a different visual, for an explosion of these ships, I guess, but it was different. It was noticeable. Let's see, after the ship explosion. Oh, okay. So then we do wind up going back to base, and the Bad Batch is getting out of there. They're like, this isn't really my scene, our scene. And we kind of get this inclusion of Echo into the Bad Batch. He's just not a Reg anymore. This isn't him as much, just going along with Rex and being the good soldier. And he winds up going with the Bad Batch with Rex's blessing. What did you think of that?
I actually liked it quite a bit, especially since they were so mistrusting of him throughout that entire episode. I think he fits in very well there, and he would make the Bad Batch a much more interesting group moving forward because we actually care about one of the members at that point. And he'd be invaluable, with his little R2-D2 hand. He's very used to them.
And I think you're right. I think the only thing that I would potentially be interested in is, does he follow Hunter or does he kind of become the de facto leader? I mean, because he's got a ton of experience on his own, but he also has sort of that natural sort of, I don't know. I feel like he would have more authority than Hunter, because Hunter just sort of seems like a passive leader, in my opinion.
To me, Hunter is no more useful than his ability. He would be a generic, one and done kind of character, and I don't see him being the leader. Crosshair is more aggressive than him.
Yeah.
Tech makes more sense even as a leader. So yeah, I could see Echo taking over with his training as an ARC trooper. He's got a lot of authority in the clone army, so I think that it would make more sense for him to become the leader, personally.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's kind of why I posed it, because it seems a little bit more natural. But I guess maybe he's just looking to find his place, so it wouldn't be, I'm going to just take over this group, because he is. I'm sure he's a bit more broken than what it seems, because it kind of seems like they're writing him as so gung ho, ready to rock and roll. But honestly, like, that guy's got to be severely messed up after this.
Yes, and actually, I think back to his comment in episode 2, I believe it was, end of the episode, and Rex says, just like old times. and he ominously says, yeah, just old times, looks off in the distance. Kind of now leaning towards that being a bit of a PTSD moment, feeling like he doesn't fit in with the other clones anymore. And it's very cool to see that he gets to have his own group, people that are going to take him in and understand what he's been through.
Yeah, that moment with Echo now just seems like such a bait. It's like, oh, well, now you got to think this entire next episode that he's going to turn on him. So I don't know. I get it from a writing standpoint, just trying to drum up some drama. But yeah, that's essentially our episode here. We, again, Echo goes with the Bad Batch, and hopefully we can kind of move into different things for our next episode. So what do you think? What do you think we're going to see in our next episode? Do you think we're finally going to move on to Jedi business or just more Clone Wars stuff?
I would hope so. I feel like we're going to probably have one more big confrontation with Grievous. It's kind of leading more towards we might see some more Mace in this season than we have in the past, which I'm okay with.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him and Obi-Wan go after Grievous together, personally. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
I want to see a reunion with Ahsoka and Anakin, though, more than anything else. And I want her to, acknowledge his turn, see the aggression in him, seeing the change in him in the time they've been apart and what he's going through. Yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of generic, and I've said it many times, but I want more Ahsoka.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That's what I'm most interested in.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how they would weave her in. And again, I guess it all just depends on the timeline. So I feel like it's gonna be a little tough. I definitely think we'll see her, but in what capacity is really my thing, my problem, or my thought. I think we're probably about ready for a reunion, a physical reunion with Padme and Anakin. I think the time might be kind of ripe for that, or potentially some more dialogue with the Chancellor, so Palpatine, and Anakin, kind of continuing the manipulation.
Do you think we'll see the start of those nightmares?
That is very, very possible. I definitely think that could be, that very well could be. I could see that happening. I don't know. I think we're gonna. I feel like episode 5 is going to be Anakin centric. I think we're gonna have an Anakin adventure. That's what I think. I actually think that we're gonna see less of Obi-Wan. I feel like we're gonna see less of Obi-Wan. Like, I mean, right now we haven't really seen a ton of him. He's been there. But maybe some more Mace, because it does seem like they're really trying to mix him in a lot more in the the battlefront. But yeah, I think it's pretty ripe for an Anakin episode, and then we'll just have to see if that's Anakin and Padme. But I think Ahsoka, if we see her this season, I still think we have a little ways to go before we get to her.
Do you think that we'll have a confrontation about Anakin killing Trench? You think another Jedi's going to call him out on that? Or?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it matters. Yeah, I think that'll be washed away. It's just like, he defeated Trench. It's fine. I mean, because could have just as easily have died in the explosion.
True.
Or maybe he got away. I don't know. He might not have been dead. For all that darn spider.
His death was kind of awkward the way he fell over and everything. It was like super slow motion and kind of goofy.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering. Like, I've wondered about that too. But like, I think that some of the deaths have been particularly brutal. in this series, and we've seen it in this season too, as well, with some of the battle droid kills. I think because it was such a personal thing, like it was very close quarter personal. Maybe they tried to bring some levity towards it, to attempt to
comedy for the kids.
Yeah. To bring it down a little bit for the kids. I mean, obviously, he stabbed him in the chest, but I don't think it was. I think he's done. I think he's done this time. But yeah, maybe that was to provide a little bit of levity, so that we're not just
scaring away all the young people.
Yeah, I guess maybe. So yeah, it should be interesting next episode to kind of see what we have coming down the pipeline. But yeah, I'm done with Bad Batch. I'm sure we'll see them towards the end of the season, and I'm kind of done with clones right now. And so help me, if there's a droid episode, I might go nuts.
Oh, come on! Hey, we haven't had a Droidica episode. What's going on in their heads?
God.
Don't you want to know?
No, not really. I don't want to know. The only.
Oh, I think you do.
No, I'm good. I mean, unless the only droid centered thing I'd like to see is like some adventures of Snap and Mr. Bones. All right. If I could get Snap Wexley and Mr. Bones. Yeah. That one I'd be okay with, but I don't know. I feel like it would be a thing that they would do here is do a droid up. I think that would actually make people angry. Dead serious. Like final season, and like so far it's been right. It's been 4 episodes of clones and then a droid episode. I literally think people would just get nuts about that personally. It's like, just give us the Jedi stuff, please.
Another thing I worry about is another damn senator episode. An abducted senator.
Yeah.
Introducing a new young. I don't know. Just a really. I'm trying to think which senator. The one that. It was that ice planet, and you had the leader of that world and the senator. What was his name? He gets killed by this primitive race, and they're fighting each other. Second season, I can't think of it now.
It's not coming to mind.
But I'm just worried about having another senator episode. I don't care about any more senators. Give us Padme and nothing else.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're gonna introduce any other potential characters in that form and fashion. I mean, anything could happen, but I don't think it would. I don't think anything would go down. I will be interested though to see if they do any more with Bale. Kind of bring him up a little bit more.
Yeah.
That might be interesting. I always was relatively intrigued with Bail Organa, and I mean he was essentially one of the major founding members of the rebellion, and I mean he's the one who kind of turned Ahsoka into Fulcrum. Was one of the major driving forces behind that. After meeting with her and kind of helping her and running missions and everything, so I think that I'd be okay with that happening. But any other minor senator business, I don't think I'm super duper interested. I mean, I'll watch it, but I don't know if that would really pique my interest as much.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: I'm kind of blurry on the newer seasons 5 and 6. Have we had a defining moment between Padme and Bale that makes her decide this is who I would want raising my kids if I were gone? I mean, have we really gotten that kind of interaction mission?
No. I think Bale just taking on Leia was sort of. I guess I don't want to say luck of the draw, but I mean they were obviously close between him, Padme, and Mon Mothma, And being that Bail had, his wife and they didn't have children, I think it was a more natural fit. But he was always so much more involved. And to be honest with you, and I think this might be part of my problem with Mon Mothma. I know we're going a little off the rails, but I've always sort of wondered about why people care so much about Mon Mothma, just in the series. I've never found her to be particularly amazing, and I hate to say it, and I'm sorry if you guys really enjoy her, because in a way I get it, but in another way I can't wrap my brain around it, because like even in Aftermath she proved to be rather naive and silly for some of her actions that eventually led to just lack security basically. But anyway, I personally would have rather had Bail Organa in the room in a lot of these planning meetings for opposing the rebellion than Mon Mothma. And I still have yet to have anybody really present a great argument for her. And I hope somebody does. If you guys have any real strong opinions on Mon Mothma, you should send them in. Hit me up on Twitter at TC Plan Podcast, or send them over to the email tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know why Mon Mothma is the best. I just, I'd like to know, but I think if it stands the leadership, I would rather have Bail Organa.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it kind of goes down to nostalgia. I mean, she was one of the original characters, and it's just kind of one of those household names for Star Wars fans. They hear it and say, "Oh yeah, she's great." Why? I don't know, because I remember the first time watching the movie, and she makes me think of it.
And right, she was instilled in the original trilogy. So, but I just don't think that they've given her a good enough backstory to really justify her being there. And unfortunately, Bail was killed on Alderaan when it was blown up by the Death Star. So there's obviously that why we wouldn't see him in later. But I feel like, and he is a big part. But I feel like he could so overshadow Mon that it just anyway.
I would have picked him as the leader of the rebellion personally, but with that gig way off topic. So
yeah, for sure. Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, Clone Wars. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what other directions we're going to go. I mean, I think one thing that would be cool is a little bit of a tie-in to Queen's Shadow and get a little bit more interaction with the handmaids. I don't see it happening, but I think it would be cool maybe if we had an episode for that. We have a lot of talk of that right now. The timing is right, so I would appreciate it, but I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah. I think if we see Padme, I think the whole thing's going to be with her and Anakin. I don't think we're going to venture too far. No, excuse me, too far away from that. I could be wrong, but again, I think that's kind of, maybe. Hey, maybe he'll help her eat some fruit. Alien pears, just cut them up for her. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And we've also talked.
Video with if Star Wars had Tinder, and it was Padme and Anakin texting each other through Tinder, and the last text from Anakin was like, "I could do that thing with the pear that you like."
That's right.
And she's like, "Stop it! Just stop it."
And this is something else we talked about. Just popped in my head. So the timelines are a little muddled because obviously we had the Clone Wars movie, like the actual live action, and then the final episode 3 as well. Do you think that we're going to get any of the reenactment from the movies, or do you think it's going to be like, because some of this stuff has to happen during, I would say during this. And we've even debated on if we're going to see Order 66 in the season. But like, do you think it's going to be talked about, or do you think it's actually going to be recreated at all?
I don't know how I'd feel about recreating it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They could do a weird jump on the last 2 episodes and just go through the entire Revenge of the Sith movie. I mean, they really could. I would prefer them end it with an announcement that the Chancellor has been kidnapped. That'd be the end.
God. Yeah. That'd be it.
I mean, I know it's a bit generic, but as far as tie-ins go, we tie up all the stories, we make all these new stories and all these new characters, and then we just perfectly tie it in to the third movie. But there's no way they'll go do another season that way. There's no other stuff to there's no questions at that point.
That probably would make the most logical sense. Whatever. It would be just such a whatever moment. I think that this would have worked had they not taken so much time off from finishing up this series. I think that if they would have just continued to roll and finished it back when this was pumping, I don't think it would have been an issue. But because they waited so long, I think that would be highly unsatisfying.
I mean, there'd be a lot of people who just, they wouldn't get it right away.
True.
Honestly,
you're right.
I'm not saying that our fans are stupid. I'm not saying that at all, but you're not thinking of Revenge of the Sith in the context of this show.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Nope. Totally agree.
At least a lot of people.
Totally agree.
I don't know. We could just end it with killing some younglings.
All you hear is, Master Skywalker. Bzzz. God. Fade
to black.
No.
The Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars. Well, I think that pretty much is a good recap of everything. So, anything else we want to talk about before we end it here?
No, I think we've gone off topic enough. Excited to see what we get next.
No doubt.
Looking forward.
Totally agree. So yeah, we've got some other stuff that we'll be bringing to you content wise as the days and the weeks and the months go by, and hopefully you guys are enjoying Clone Wars in our little recap review episodes as well. So I guess for me, I will go ahead and say have a great rest of your week.
And may the COVID be with you.